Whether you're renting or buying in LA, these mistakes apply to both and should be avoided at all costs, especially for first-time buyers.
I want to be there and baby dance the night away. I let my head.
My name is EJ Horstman, Realtor and investor right here in Los Angeles. Please reach out via the link in the description and I'd be happy to help you find the perfect home. It's tempting in this market to waive contingencies. What does that mean? Contingencies are essentially safety nets, protecting you as a buyer from things that could be wrong with the house, or things not represented accurately. Because the market's so hot, some buyers are giving up their right to inspections and or waiving the appraisal contingency, meaning that even if the house appraises for lower than the purchase price, they'll need to make up the difference in cash. This is quite risky, especially for first-time buyers. For most home purchases in Los Angeles, a home will get a general inspection, an appraisal, and a termite inspection. A general inspection will include an inspector going through every part of the house, inside and out. They'll test electrical outlets and faucets and look for damage to appliances and structure. Their report will recommend items for repair. They'll suggest contacting a specialist. A general inspector is kind of like a general physician. They can see what's wrong and recommend further investigation with other experts. One of the most important parts of the home is, of course, the foundation. And we're talking about single-family homes here. I just had a buyer get into contract on a house where the general inspector recommended further investigation of the foundation. The house was over 100 years old, and homes built before 1940 can sometimes have foundation issues. They're just old. This home was very old. The first inspector I met with spent an hour and a half under the house and came up looking like he'd been in battle. Their firm estimated a $95,000 repair. Imagine if we didn't get that inspection. The buyer could have been out that much money or may have risked buying a seriously unsafe home. Just to be sure, we got a second opinion from a structural engineer. His team assessed that the subflooring would need to be re-leveled in addition to the foundation being totally overhauled. Take a look at a few of the photos here to see how rough a shape the piers and beams were. The second opinion estimated a whopping $165,000 repair cost. The seller had no intention of crediting that amount, so unfortunately the deal fell through. However, the inspections saved the buyer from buying a lemon. A lot of people ask me if the Zillow's estimate is accurate. It can be somewhat misleading as a home seller if you see what Zillow estimates and think that's exactly what you'll get for your house. According to statistics, about 85% of home estimates were within 5% of the sale price, depending on the area of the country and the city. So basically, it's data. It's an algorithm. The Zestimate can't see if you've upgraded your kitchen or added a pool, so it's a good tool to use to get an idea of what your home could be worth, but a local realtor will be able to give you a more accurate, real-life estimate. And Zillow does admit that it's not perfect. Some people ask if they should use their family member as an agent. Well, it's generally not recommended. Sure, you love and trust your family member, but if a deal goes bad, you'd hate to see your relationship dissolve over litigation. Unfortunately, our brokerage sees it all the time. They've told us that every day in the broker office, they're constantly trying to figure out why this close family friend real estate agent is about to be sued. Unfortunately, some professionalism can be foregone when dealing with friends and family, and that can spell bad news for a very serious real estate deal. I'll now go over 3 important things to ask when buying or renting a property. Let's start with buying. First, ask if the seller needs to find another property in order to sell. Because inventory is so low right now, that might mean a longer escrow period waiting for the seller to find a new home. Also, if there are any inspection reports that could have been done recently, it could save you time and hassle if you know, for example, that a house has a suspect foundation. If you know some serious flaws, you may choose to pass on the house. Finally, ask if there are other offers on the table. If your real estate agent is friendly and has built rapport with the listing agent, you may be able to get some insider information. For renting a place in California, the first thing to ask about is rent control. What's the max percentage the landlord can raise rent every year? I thought it was about 4% in Los Angeles, but I found out recently that it can be up to 8%. That's a serious rent raise. Ask that. Also ask if utilities are included, and if not, what they usually come out to. It's good to know in advance what you're going to be paying. Finally, ask about the neighbors. Have there been noise complaints in the recent past? Have there been other tenants living there for a long time? If there's a lot of turnover, that could be a red flag. So in conclusion, make sure you do your due diligence before buying or renting in Los Angeles. There are a lot of weird rules and intricacies that can catch you off guard if you're not familiar with the area or regulations. Make sure you have an expert on your side. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you'll love the one on screen. Feel free to reach out to me at any time for real estate needs. All links in the description below.